I know this, that people are so involved now with themselves and with bringing up their own children and the material things in life. A lot of times they do not even think of the homeless people.
Homelessness affects everybody.
It's not just one group of people that this affects. It's not just one color, it's not just one race, it's not just one income bracket.
Society as a whole has a very severe misinterpretation of what homelessness is and what it looks like on a global scale.
Everybody has their own story, and no two stories are the same.
It is a population as a whole that homelessness can affect. Anybody can be homeless. It is not just somebody who grew up in a low-income atmosphere or a certain part of the city. It really can be the person that teaches your child can be homeless tomorrow. You can be homeless tomorrow. I can be homeless tomorrow. You know, it's not always about the choices that you make, but what life kind of throws at you as well.
You know, you have people, companies taking 400 and 500 jobs away, from very small companies, and you're already struggling. What do you do from that point? You're losing your homes, you're losing your apartments. People can only extend you so many courtesies before you're basically out on the street. That's the part that people are, I think, slowly but surely beginning to realize, especially in this economic climate that we have now. People are beginning to see that it's not so unrealistic, to be homeless.
I think in most cases what it is that it's not one thing. It's a culmination of a lot of things, and that's usually what brings someone to homelessness.
We're all but one bad decision, one paycheck away from being in the exact same situation, and how would you want to be treated?
Oftentimes the picture of the homeless is that they're lazy people. I kind of challenge that. If they are given the opportunity, and we have found this with the families that we work with, when they are given the opportunity to actually get a job and not be worried about the rent right away. In other words, getting a little bit behind them, a little bit of financial security behind them, they can make it on their own, and they are willing to do it.
I feel that HFF is unique compared to other agencies, and the fact that we really do provide wraparound services.
We take the time to find out the backstory. We take the time to address educational issues or whatever other barriers are in the way of that client maintaining housing.
We provide them with furnished shelter units that other agencies don't do.
I feel like they helped me in every aspect of my life as far as, looking for work, looking for somewhere to live, getting my kids in daycare, just helped me with the attitude that it's not as bad as I think it is, and I can definitely fix what's wrong in my life.
When a family comes to our shelter, we want to make sure that, first of all, that the unit they stayed in is appropriately stocked.
To make sure that, this family has what you would essentially need to start that new home.
The first point of contact is always the case manager. It's generally, that's their only point of contact for the most part.
Caseworkers are here to work with every family from the day they enter the system to say, okay, what is it that we need to do to help you move on?
You're really building a relationship one-on-one with the case manager and that family. As soon as a family starts to open up and you build that relationship, there's a trust that starts, and families really do trust you.
It's a hand-in-hand process. It's not a matter of case manager steps in and does all the work for the client. The client actually does the majority of the work. We're just there to assist them in getting in the right direction.
We try to hold families accountable by showing them a path that they can take. They can take this path that's going to lead to successful housing, and we have the case management to point out what you have to do, whether it be employment, getting daycare, what steps you have to take, or you can choose to take another path and not make any changes within your life to better the situation that you're in. That's why we truly treasure the success stories that we have and the families that do make it, which we have a pretty good rate of families that make it.
I entered HFF in March of 2010 and exited June 28th of 2010. What led me to the program was imprisonment and coming out of, the prison system and moving in with family, which was my sister. In order to reunite my family, my children and myself, I knew I had to start somewhere.
We map out a game plan, because that's basically what it is. It's a game plan that's going to make this program work for you specifically, tailored to your needs, whether it be parenting classes, life skills classes, you needing help interviewing. I had a client that I would sit with for hours and just mock interview with.
They're a huge part of it. They don't realize it at the time, but when they're all finished and they say, thank you so much, we throw it back on them and say, you did this, we may have helped a bit, but you made these choices, you made these steps, you made it to your new house.
Because of our focus on the children, we have several times a year where we know that the kids are entering what could be a difficult situation.
The teenagers and the tweens, as we call them, are able to go school shopping for their own clothes.
They got to say, this is me. This isn't something that somebody's just handed to me. This is something that I got to pick out to reflect who I am and how I want to look. And I don't think you can measure that. I don't think you can measure that at this time of their life.
The haircuts was something that we came up with because, being in the shelters, it's not fun. And for children, especially, it can be embarrassing. So you want them to be able to go to school and fit in, with the other kids. You want them to be able to get a nice new haircut whenever, school starts and throughout the course of the school year.
We also have a wonderful Christmas program for our families. And how we do that is we set up an actual store of brand new items, brand new clothing, and the families are able to go in and pick out what they want for their kids. And they walk in there and their eyes just glow. And they have huge smiles on their face, and all the gifts get wrapped, and the family goes and puts them under their tree, and they have them there for Christmas.
I have always worked in the field of social services, and I believe that I have some skills in it, but I certainly have the passion. People can make a change. Whatever small way I can help to do that, I get so much more back in return than what I can give.
I care because I feel that a lot of the people that I come in contact with at the shelter, they need somebody to care for them.
It's important to me because I've been there. I've been homeless on the very far spectrum of it, as far as sleeping in my car and not really having, not necessarily that I didn't have a support system, just not readily available.
You have to be passionate about this job, or it's not helping anybody.
I feel so strongly that it takes such courage for someone to have to say to a stranger, I can't take care of my family. I can't put a roof over their head. To have to ask people for the very basics of human survival.
It's hard to explain the things that families have to go through to people that have no knowledge of it.
People are looking for a sense of fault, something to blame.
It is so foreign to some people, and it's very hard to grasp your mind around.
If it's not like me, then something must be wrong. We tend to be very self-centered and very selfish in our thought process and think that everybody's circumstance should mirror ours.
If I show a family that I'm not there for them 100%, why should they work 100% for me and for themselves for that matter?
Because these are still adults. They still have every right to independent thought. They still have every right to input into their process, which is you're assisting their lives. You're not trying to restructure their lives to what you want it to be. So people begin to trust you when they see that you are on their team.
Something that I just always tell my families is they can always come back here and talk to me at any time. My door is always open for them, and I can try to put them on a path, because I don't want to see a family return back to homelessness.
That's our primary goal, to make sure that we are providing an opportunity for people to make a better way for their families.
You should never give up, because eventually you're going to get to where you need to be as long as you try.
Take full advantage of it. Put an effort into it, because if you're going to get a result, and I'd say 9.5 times out of 10, it's going to be a great result.
If we do our due diligence on our end, as far as making sure that they are getting aligned with the programs that they need to get aligned with, that they are taking advantage of all the resources that we have available, more times than not, their lives change. You know, and who doesn't want to be a part of that?
Life is a gift that God gives us. But what we do with that life is our gift back to Him.